Wake Up Rhapsody. I want to bring in a friend now. And this is something that's near and dear, at least to me, something we bring up fairly often on the show, and it's mental health. And I thought, man, what a great idea. Let's bring in Ken Scooby. He is with Centerpoint. He is the clinical director of Centerpoint Hospital. Ken, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Brandon, good morning. Happy Thursday, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Our pleasure.
Let's start here. Exactly what is it that Centerpoint does?
Centerpoint is a hospital. It's a psychiatric hospital, and we treat adolescents, adults, senior adults, a variety of programs, stabilize mental health issues. We do detox, help folks with basic life crises you're going through at the time to help them kind of get through that and help stabilize them, get back to their lives and back to their families and back to a better way of dealing with life.
And I think sometimes when somebody is dealing with something in a situation like that, it's pretty serious. And I speak from experience. It's, hey, if you can do it while still, maintaining your home and working, that's beautiful. Not everybody can do it. And sometimes it's cool to duck away for a little bit while you get your ducks in a row. And that's kind of one of the things that you guys do with some of these in-house treatment programs.
That's so very true. They give an opportunity to kind of get away from the everyday hecticness of their life and the chaos and the things they're dealing with and kind of get a chance to step away from it and opportunity to begin looking at things differently. We talk about a lot of things that we cannot change, but we can change the way we look at them. And that's real important.
Yeah.
And
Hot Talk 93.9, The Eagle. Ken Scooby from Centerpoint is hanging out with us. I think a lot of your reality, it's up here between the ears. It is how you deal. There's a lot of stuff going on outside of this noggin here. But what's going on inside the noggin, I can I can choose how I want to deal with that stuff. But sometimes I need some tools. I need a little bit of help for one reason or another.
Right on. You make a very good point. Coming to the hospital and going through the treatment gives you opportunity to put some more tools in your coping skills toolbox through a variety of things. We our groups working on stress management, other coping strategies, just a number of things. And
I don't know if there's still this whole stigma. We talk mental health, and I don't know if that still conjures up a certain type of an image of somebody dealing with a mental health issue. Do you find there is still some of that out there, that we have this stereotyped picture of what somebody who has a mental health issue, what it is they're dealing with?
I think very much so, based upon the past movies, things like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's a drastic example from the 70s. Things have changed, but it's like anything in life that people, they don't know, or the fear of the unknown, they don't understand it, it's scary to them, that type of thing.
And there's different types of, we talk about mental health issues, we're not talking necessarily full-out breakdown mode. There are people that wake up on a daily basis, probably people we work with, people that we know that wake up every day and kind of go through life and like, it used to be different. I used to feel good about things, what's going on. And sometimes it's just the wiring in your brain. And I know there's a lot of folks that say, no, it's not, just pick yourself up by your bootstraps, get over it. Sometimes you can. But sometimes it's the wiring in your brain. And that's hard for people to understand. For some people, and I understand how it's difficult for them to understand that. But that's all it is. And I think if we show greater acceptance, unless you've been there, you don't know.
Boy, you're so very true there. I once had a patient share with us. She said that, you guys, you've gotten through all the bad days of your life so far. I thought, how profound, how true. It's, nobody can argue that point.
Our guest is Ken Scooby, Centerpoint, clinical director of Centerpoint Hospital. And then what about, do you feel that there's a special challenge for, and we're not just addressing people that might think they have a mental health issue or a family member. This is for everybody you might work with or live with. And this is like if you take a pebble and drop it in a pond, that way where that pebble hit, it doesn't just affect right where it hit the water. That ripple goes out, and your social ripple of people are affected.
Absolutely. So often people get in that frame of mind where they think that, well, if I would just go away or die, nobody would miss me. I'm not needed. I'm a burden. But then that ripple effect you talk about, when someone does take their life, it affects many, many people.
And the other thing, too, is people think, well, I'm not suicidal. I would, from some of my experiences, I would base it a lot on this. May not be suicidal, but just you want to stay in bed and hide under the covers all day and not deal with anything.
Absolutely. A part of that is that feeling of being disconnected or detached. In my experience, when people get to the point where they feel like life's not worth living, they're a burden, they can't go on anymore, they're considering taking their life, big part of that, they want the pain to go away. But they feel detached, disconnected from others around them. And what's really neat when we see people in treatment, when they're doing well, they start realizing there's people around them that care about them, and they have a connection with them, and they start to reattach and reconnect. And that is what I call improved or better mental health.
Do you think it's more difficult for some men to come forward and say, hey, you know what, I don't feel right, man. I don't feel good. Am I stereotyping to say it's more difficult for men because we have more pride?
I think that's very true. We talked about that earlier. And that still continues, maybe somewhat less, but that definitely is still there, that guys are supposed to be the strong, silent types. Unfortunately, a lot of those stereotypes are breaking down.
Hot Talk 93.9, the Eagle List from the text at 874-9390. Please ask what can be done to increase the number of pediatric youth providers in mid-Missouri. It can take months to get into an outpatient pediatric provider, even as an established patient.
That is a great question. That's something that we experience every day, the shortage of the providers, not just for pediatrics, but also even adults. My thought is we're hoping at Centerpoint developing as many partnerships with educational agencies, schools or colleges, give people a chance to get out there and work more with younger folks and have an interest and kind of develop that. But that's a great question, a challenge. It's definitely there.
So do you have, like like people just call the business line if they want to talk to somebody, get some more info, website? How can we get in touch with you?
Well, there's a couple different ways. One good way would be calling our local number, 573-615-2001. Again, that number is 573-615-2001. And there's somebody answering the phones 24 hours a day. And we'll get them in touch with a counselor, talk about admissions or what else might be necessary depending on what the situation, what's going on.
All right, very cool. Before we let you go, anything you like to do in your spare time?
In my spare time, well, my CEO kind of jokes with me because a lot of times I'm going to support group meetings and assisting people. And as I was saying earlier, one of the things that Centerpoint just got involved with was the Jason Foundation. It's out of Nashville, Tennessee. It was started in 1997 by Connie and Clark Flatt. Jason Flatt, their son, who the foundation's named after. It's a great opportunity for us to get information about programs and services at no charge. And the interesting thing about that is that, unfortunately, when Jason took his life in July of 1997, that was also my son's 12th birthday. Fast forward the story a little bit later on, 9 years ago, next month, then my son took his life 1 month before he turned 25. He was 24. And so we're really aware that with the silent epidemic of youth suicides, particularly between the ages of 10 and 24, getting involved, getting services out there and programs, that's something we're excited about also offering.
I had a brother, age 16. Same thing. It happens, but there is help.
I'm sorry for your loss.
And I am sorry for yours. Man, I appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate you.
Ken Scooby, Centerpoint, clinical director of Centerpoint Hospital, 615. That's in the 573 area code, 615-2001. And perhaps we'll meet again.
I hope so. And just I want to leave it that we can't guarantee better, we can guarantee different. As things get different in life, there's an opportunity there.